I spent my morning actually doing some devotions. This is how I'm doing them. So I go through source cards for these. This is how I start the study. I'll have my name, last name, and then I have the day that I'm actually doing it. And then over here I have D for devotion, and this is day 6. And then I've got, the card number, so I can keep them in sequential order. And so this morning I was going through Psalm 5, and then I have verse numbers. I want to kind of call out what I find in here, what jumps out to me. And then, so I went through Psalm 5, and then this is Matthew 5, 21 through 42. It jumps over to Genesis chapter 11, and then Genesis chapter 12, and then Genesis 13. And so I just write down things that pop out to me on these cards. Do I want to make any main cards for this stuff, or is anything applicable, or insightful, or related to stuff that I've been working on? And a few things popped out to me actually. Psalm 5, verses 1 through 3 talks about, "Hear me and consider my groanings. Heed the sound of my cry for help." Now, you may not write down things like this, but I do. And I wrote, "My King and my God, the King of Israel, calls out to his King." And I thought that was pretty neat, pretty interesting. What really stuck out to me is the morning, the first thing in his day, he will order, or I think he's saying, lay out his requests, or lay out his day before the Lord, and then watch. And then my understanding of that is he lays it all out before the Lord, and then he's watching, or he's waiting on the Lord for guidance on that. I went ahead and I just made a main card for this. I got lay out and order your thoughts before God, then watch, wait on the Lord to accomplish things or open doors. This is maybe a cure for anxiety too, right? It says, be anxious for nothing, but in everything, and thank in prayer and supplication, thanksgiving, make your requests made known to God. And I'll actually probably put that on this card here too. What got me going down an interesting path is in verse 8. When I first wrote it down, I said, "Make my way straight before me." And that's not right. It's actually make your way straight before me. That goes back to day 22. It's not defining our purpose. It's discerning God's purpose for our lives. Make your way straight before me. And so this got me thinking like day 22, completely focused on that. So I started to look back through some of my cards that were related to that. This was your purpose is the reason for being, Ikigai. That's that Venn diagram. So I added this to the card. Make your way straight before me, Psalm 5:8, and then 177000. That's the new number I put on this card. And then it's not our purpose, it's God's purpose for our life. Psalm 5:8 is on this card now, so I'll be putting that in my Psalm card. So 5:8, and then this is the importance of why. Oh, wait a minute. No, 5:8 is purpose. So I'll just write purpose, and then I want to put that card on here. 21, C1, D1, P0. Now, some of you may be wondering, so why do I have these letters? Well, when I cared more about categories, when I cared more about the context, what I did is I actually started doing like 2100 is psychology, and then I had C for cognition, cognitive psychology, and D, now I can't even remember. But I had this idea that I would want to know the context of my addresses. And now I don't care about that anymore, because I don't really want to order these by categories any longer. And I left it. I'm not changing it because the system's not broken. It still works. But now I just don't do that anymore. But I still use those addresses because I've got these addresses all throughout my Zettelkasten. 5, 1 through 3, and 7 through 8. And I'm just going to do it like this. And this is my morning prayer time. Now, what I also did is, because this is, closely related to my why, my purpose, my why. And so I actually wanted to put this on here. Make your way straight before me. So I added that card to the importance of why. And then here is another card, and this was Psalm 5:11. And then David is saying, asking God to shelter them. The idea that I got from this: confirm our trust and love in you, Lord, so we can be proud of our God, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And I got Psalm 5:2 on here too, where David says, my King and my God. I thought that was pretty cool. What I was thinking about then is how I was talking on day 24. I'm going to start calling these episodes, because I'm probably not going to do them every day now, because I am comfortable in front of the camera. And now I'm going to focus more on content and having good content. Well, hopefully good. I was looking up transforming his promises of transformation are testable. What he promises creates expectations. Do we see those expectations playing out? When people follow the plan, absolutely yes. When we try to take shortcuts, the expectations might not come to pass. Honesty with self is required. Reliance on traditions of men won't cut it. And, that was a big part of my talk on episode 24. Now, what I want to do is actually put this card right next to this one. Confirm our trust and love in you, Lord, so that we can be proud of our God. We want to exalt when David's praying that the Lord will shelter them. Now, does this mean that God is going to shelter us from all hardship and evil? No, that's not what that means. But ultimately, in the end, we have a shelter. If God is for us, who can be against us? Nothing will separate us from the love of God, right? Nothing. It's pretty awesome, the fulfillment of that. And let me make this the next card. Easiest way I want to do that is just go 5, SM2, we'll just say GT2. In the index, what am I going to look for in the future with this? Confirm our trust. I'm gonna actually put this under confirm, just because that's the way my brain's thinking right now, and that's how I'm going to do it. And then I'm just going to say confirm, trust in the Lord, and GT2. So now put those back in order, and I'll store these again. Now, another thing that I am thinking through also is in my reading, and along with this reading today, when Abraham and Lot leave, they end up going into Egypt. And, Abraham's worried that his wife is, she's beautiful, so he's afraid for his own life. So he says, say you're my sister and things will go well with me. Pharaoh ends up taking Abraham's wife into his household, is fearful, and he's trying to do things on his own. I want to actually make a card about that too. And that goes right along with what I was reading in Psalm 5. Lay out and order your thoughts before God. Then wait. Start your day right. Start your day relying on God. And then wait on God and watch for God to act. Abraham didn't do that, and it cost him trouble. And oftentimes we don't do that, and it causes us trouble. And let me know if you find it interesting. Let me know how you're doing your devotions, if you've started your Zettelkasten, and how you use it in your own devotions, because then we can learn from each other, we can grow together and get advice from one another and grow more and more in our walk, right? Keep seeking his face, and God bless.